Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about how we created this rendering of a pipe inside of a old pipe. And I want to just kind of go over all the steps that it takes to get a rendering created like that. So you can see here in my video, I'm starting off in SketchUp. So I've drawn a pipe, I've cut out a hole in the pipe with a random sketch of a break. And now I'm adding texture to make the pipe look like it's old and rusty and kind of crappy looking. And now I'm just making more breaks in the pipe, more cuts, similar to how a pipe would bust underground and cave in on itself. So these are just random sketches of breaks, and then I'm taking the axial geometry and tilting it around the cylindrical pipe to show that the breaks are not just on one side. So now I'm going to create the ground that the pipe is going to reside in for the rendering, and this is going to simulate the underground look that you saw in the beginning of the video where the pipe is sitting underground. So I'm creating textures and adding waves to textures, adding them to the X and Y axis in a square, and then added root texture to the gradient, to the grade of the ground, creating hips and valleys and everything else. That's what will create the rendered look. Now I'm taking the pipe and I'm extruding it through the new quote-unquote ground area that we've created, and I'm drawing a new pipe inside of the old pipe, which is what Perma-Liner creates. They design, or they manufacture liners that create new pipes inside of old pipes, just to kind of dumb it down a little bit. So I'm pulling it through on the center point, and then I'm showing that new pipe now inside of the old pipe, and then rendering it using the light engine to get a good idea of where I should put my spotlights. And now these little triangular things you see are actual spotlights that I'm putting inside the pipe to illuminate it in the way that I want it to show on the final product. So you actually build lights and you put them all around. So the larger the light, the more light it's going to throw, similar to a floodlight. Here I'm adding the roots to kind of show that the roots are growing through the ground and trying to give it the underground look that the pipe needs in the rendering. And you can start to see that it starts to come to life now. Shadows get added every time you render, and it starts to come together. So a little more roots, a little more lights. I adjust the rendering output for the primary light, add more roots to the bottom, and you can start to see that it comes together quite nicely. And this is all again done using SketchUp and just kind of freelancing on the canvas. So you can see I'm just testing different rendering settings, creating just a grayscale rendering so I can see where my shadows are going to fall. And that's a test rendering, so we can kind of see the different looks you can get out of it. So I'm doing different angles, just rendering it, and you can render it at all different angles now that you have the model set up, which is quite nice. And here's the final product here. As you can see, it comes together quite nicely, and then I added infographics to the actual rendering itself, and then some lighting adjustments in Photoshop, and it makes a really nice final product for brochures, for the website, for everything else. So if when you have something as unique as a Perma-Liner, pipelining product, and you want to give it a visual representation without using photorealistic imagery or graphics, you got to create the renderings from scratch. So went on ahead and did that, and now we have a model that we can use to render any graphics that we need to at any time. So hope this video kind of helps anybody out there that's kind of wondering how they do that, how do they create that. That's how you do it. So thanks for watching.